So I am excited to be here tonight with you, and our focus is going to be talking about teams, but really looking at it from the perspective that certainly working in an environment, teams is important, but how about in our homes in terms of making sure that we've got team work happening, and what does that look like and how do we make it happen? So we're going to have a little fun tonight. I'm going to give you some theory kind of stuff regarding teams. But then we're going to spend some time just building something tonight. But to start off, in front of you, or at your, let me make sure this is on your tables, there is a bag. And in it, there's a puzzle. So go ahead and let me give you the instructions first. So there are 6 tables. There are 6 puzzles. You're going to have 5 minutes. All the puzzles need to be completed when I call 5 minutes. Okay? Everybody clear on the instructions? Okay. Go ahead and open up your puzzles and begin. Time. All right, go ahead and take your seats. Let's talk a little bit about what happened. All right, so all the puzzles are not done. Why not? Really? We didn't have enough time. So what happened? What happened initially as you started the process? Ah. Okay. All right. So you could not do it in isolation, correct? You had to what? You had to work together. You had to get up out of your space and ask for help. What happens when you don't have all the pieces?
You throw the puzzle away.
No, you don't. Never throw puzzles away. So how frustrated is it sometimes when you are working on something and you don't have everything you need to complete it? Yeah, very frustrating. Or maybe it's not pieces or processes, but it might be people who have information that hasn't been shared with you or relayed to you. But you're expected to do what?
Figure it out.
Complete something, but there's no way for you to do that because maybe you don't have the knowledge that goes with it. You don't have all the resources. And so when we really talk about the importance of teamwork or team building, we have to take into consideration that we may not be the one who has all the information. That sometimes the information has to come from others, and we've got to be willing to realize that our own individual efforts, no matter how good we are, how smart we are, how resourceful we are, we might not be able to do it all by ourselves. So as we talk about today, we're going to be looking at talking about the importance of teamwork as it relates to things at home, as it relates to the community or our work, and then just understanding that our ability to become I call it a part of a performing team, there's processes that you have to go through to make that a reality. Okay? So today we're going to just have a little fun, some critical thinking, what I love right in the beginning. I have done this exercise many, many times, and sometimes people will just sit at their table and say, we're done. And everybody else is running around trying to get their puzzle completed, and they never move from their table. Because sometimes I'll have puzzles that are totally complete at a table, and they'll say, okay, we're finished. But what were my rules in the beginning? All the puzzles had to be done. And so when we have that conversation, they're saying, well, you didn't tell us we could move. What I did say is what? Everything had to be completed. So in order for everything to be completed, that meant you had to make sure that your other teams, your other tables were getting this done. Okay? So what is a team? Team is made up of people and processes and systems and all of that. But when we think about the first piece of it, a team is people. And in each of us, we bring certain strengths and talents and abilities to whatever it is that we're doing. So if we think about household, what are some of the things that we have to work and do in our household to make it work? We got chores. So break down a chore for me. Laundry. A beautiful one, right? So you think about laundry. What has to go into laundry? So I got a machine, but that machine can't do anything until what? Your son puts the laundry. But somebody has to put something in there, right? There has to be clothes put in there. There has to be detergent put in there, and it has to be whatever else. Okay, so we've got the laundry and the washing machine. But then what has to happen?
Turn it on.
You got to turn it on. Exactly. So we can put all that stuff in there, close the lid, and when we come back, I don't think the clothes are going to be clean unless y'all got some curmudgeons that handle it. But then we got to do what?
Remember that it's in there.
We got to remember that it's in there. That's right. How often have we gone to do something else and say, oh my goodness, the laundry's been in there for 2 days.
Yeah.
It'll be smelling if it's in the summertime. But then we got to remember that it's there. Somebody's got to take it out of the machine and put it in the dryer. And then after that, we've got to take it out and do what? Well, some people say fold. Some people say hang it up. Some people say just throw it all in the drawer. You got to iron it if you iron. Exactly. So there's quite a few steps, but everybody has to play a part. So to get the clothes in there, we have to, one, get them from somebody's room, or if we've got a community laundry basket or something. So all of that requires everybody's effort to make it happen. And if you think about fixing a meal, same thing. We've got to put dishes on the table. We don't all stand at the stove and just eat out of a pot, right?
Well, you have to have clean dishes to put on.
You got to have some, right? Unless you do paper plates and those kind of things. Paper plates, okay. So there's a process to all of this. And in order for that to happen, people need to be part of it. And then we have to determine what's the goal we're trying to achieve. What's the goal we're trying to achieve? So in terms of doing the laundry, our goal is to have clean clothes. And in order for that to happen, we've got to make sure that we're washing it. Our goal is to have a meal. And it just doesn't happen unless we're going through a drive-through. The food is just not prepared until somebody prepares it or picks it up or whatever the case is. So you want to think about it. And then what's the shared responsibility? Who's going to do what? Who's going to take care of doing this task and this task and this task? And then what is our collective talent? Because there are some things that some people do very well. Like I don't allow my husband to do too many washing of the dishes. Just put them in the dishwasher. Because he seems to always forget like the outside of the dish. Gets the inside really clean. But the outside, sometimes I'm like, I can't put that in the cabinet. So we got to wash that one again or put it in the dishwasher. Just put it in the dishwasher, Charles. It's good. We'll take it from there. So we got to look at Some of us are very good at making beds. Some of us don't care whether the bed is made. As my husband always say, the sheets going to get messed up when you get back in them. So why do you make them up? Oh boy. Okay. So what is that collective talent that we have working together? What are the things that each person brings to the table to make sure that we get the job done? So why do teams fail? So think about in your household. We can read what's up there, but why do teams fail?
Oh, I didn't even read that.
Lack of communication. So earlier when I asked you, when we did the puzzle, someone said, well, all the pieces there? I said, I don't know. Nobody asked me that though when we started, right? I just said, put the puzzle together. No one said, are all the pieces there? So sometimes we've got to make sure we're asking questions. We've got to make sure that we know what's the end result. When we finish it all, what is it going to look like? So someone once gave me a puzzle, and I love to do puzzles. I'm working on one now that's shaped like a butterfly. It's 1,000 pieces. It's going to be beautiful. But I love doing puzzles. And they gave me a puzzle, and then they said, well, there's 2 pieces missing. I was like, well, where are they? They're like, well, we don't know. We lost them. I said, well, I don't want that puzzle. Well, they say, well, once you put it all together, you're going to put it back in a box anyway. No, I don't. Once I put the puzzle together, I glue it, and then I give it away. I make it a picture. So don't give me a puzzle with missing pieces, because that's a total waste of my time, because it won't be complete. So we want to think about making sure everybody knows what the goal is, because if I don't know what the goal is, then I don't know what I'm working towards. Okay. What are some other things in terms of why teams fail? Motivation or lack of. I just don't want to do the laundry. Don't want to clean my room. You hear that a lot? Man.
I don't want to.
No.
I do a lot of things I don't want to.
Absolutely.
That's why my kids do their own now. Clean clothes, not my problem.
Yeah, you're right. It gets to that point.
Yes, it's nice when it gets to that point.
Right, right. But we think about projects we have at work. Do we like every task we have at work, those of us who work? No, there are some of them that I wish I could give to somebody else to do, but they still have to be done. So you've got to figure out, okay, I got to motivate myself. So today we're going to file, or today we're going to do this because this is what I don't like doing. So I'm going to give myself 20 minutes to do it and see if I can get it all done in that 20-minute time period. Then I can check it off. Check it off the list. Sometimes that's how you give yourself the motivation, is give yourself a time frame to get it done. All right. What are other reasons why teams fail?
People are talking at each other and not to each other.
Wow. Did you guys hear that? People are talking at each other and not to each other. That's bad communication, right? Yeah. So we got to think about that. Listening. How many ears do we have? Everybody was like, is that a trick question? 2. How many mouths do we have? 1. So we should do twice as much listening as we do talking, so that we can make sure we hear what people are saying. Okay? So teams can fail for a number of reasons, and partly some of them fail because people don't know what the expectations are. They don't know what the goals, the rules, etc. are. All right, so this is a phase or 4 steps of a team building process. And I'm going to just quickly go through this. But there are four components to it. And I want to give the person credit. That's why I'm holding this packet. So this was a study that was done in 1965 by a psychologist, Bruce Wayne Tuckman. and he was at the Naval Medical Research Institute, and he was asked to do articles about team behavior. Why don't teams work? And why are teams failing? And this was again in 1965. And so he conceived his theory of group developmental processes, and he came up with these 4 stages of why teams can work or they don't work, and what are the stages that people need to go through in terms of building teams. So this first one is, let me go to this slide first. But there's 4 phases, but these are the things that he talked about. First of all, the types of roles that are on teams. 1, you got to have somebody who's the leader. You got to have somebody who's going to say, these are the steps we need to follow. These are the outcomes we need to achieve. Has nothing to do necessarily because of their positions or titles or anything of that nature, but somebody's got to pull it all together and say, hey, this is what we said we were going to do. Let's stay on course. Okay, so somebody needs to steer the ship so it's going in the right direction. You need somebody who's going to kind of facilitate and see, are we following the process that we set up? Are we making sure that we're staying on course? You got somebody who's going to record what we're doing, keeping notes to make sure that if we've got to report out on this, do we know what we've actually accomplished? Or what changes did we potentially make? We said we were going to do this, but we made some adjustments along the way. You got to have somebody who's the keeper of whatever all of the handouts or all of the key components of your project, so you can make sure that nothing gets lost. So if we've got to turn in a report and there has to be pictures, or it has to be paper clips attached, or it has to be balls attached, or whatever it might be, that they've got all the stuff there. And then you've got to have everybody else who's part of that process. So the goal again is that you've got to have some lead people that are setting it all up, but then you've got to have everybody else who's on the team who are going to make it a reality, going to put the whole piece together. So I want you to think about these roles because you're going to be utilizing them a little later on in a project that you're going to be working on. Okay? So we're going to have somebody who's a leader. You're going to have somebody who's facilitating, making sure that we're staying on target, keeping notes of what's happening, any resources that we have to have, that's the keeper, and then everybody else on the team. Okay? All right, so let's talk about these 4 steps pretty quickly. First stage is that we're forming. This is what makes up a good team. This is when we're going to be looking at and determining what each person is going to do and how we're going to work together as a team to accomplish the task at hand. So this is the first stage of any team. So if you think about your household, you're going to form it. Now, you guys are all in the same household, so there should be some commonality. Yes? Should be some commonality. You all live together. It's not like in a work environment. You got to figure out your team members that are going to be part of the process. But hopefully in the household, everybody's part of the group. Okay? So we're going to be looking at this part of it is, what are our boundaries? What are the things we're going to set up? What are the non-negotiables, I call them? What are the things that you absolutely cannot violate as part of it? So if we use laundry again, you can't leave the laundry in the washing machine for 2 days after it's washed. That's a non-negotiable. So you got to think about what are the things that we cannot violate that absolutely need to be done. What are some of the behaviors that need to happen? And let's talk about how we're going to respect each other, how we're going to talk to each other, how we're going to treat each other, all of those kind of things. And then what type of relationships that we want to create, internal to our team as well as external, because there may be other people that you've got to work with. So what are some of the relationships that we need to develop? So this first part, we're just really going to create the foundation. We're going to set the foundation of what needs to happen and how we're going to work together. Okay? Storming. Now, I'm sure none of this happens in your household where you just don't get along. Can't figure out who's going to do what. Well, I thought you were going to do that. Well, I thought you were going to do that. Well, I did my part. Well, you didn't do your part. Well, it happens in households. It also happens in the business environment as well. Conflict is inevitable. And this also comes up sometimes when we disagree on how something should be done. So you should only put this amount of detergent in the washing machine. You shouldn't put 3 pods in there. You should only put 1 pod. Or you shouldn't put 2 cups of bleach. You should only use 1 cup. Whatever the situation is. But I've got my way of doing it. You've got your way of doing it. So there's a little bit of storming that's going on. Conflict is inevitable. The piece is that sometimes conflict allows us to see something that maybe we hadn't considered. It allows us to take into consideration other people's perspectives that maybe we were blind to, because I've got my silo, my way of doing it, and now it's opened up a little bit and it's like, oh, okay, that's not how I would have done this. Or I didn't take your perspective into consideration. So we need to look at, in this one, sometimes egos emerge. I can't imagine that happens in any of your households. I know it happened in mine, but can't imagine egos get in the way. My way or no way, my way or the highway. We're going to do it this way whether you like it or not. Okay? This is where leadership is important, because whomever we designated as our leader, this is where you have the conversation. Let's hear it out. Let's hear what this person has to say. Let's hear what this person has to say, and then we can decide what direction we may want to take. But this allows us also to look at different ideas, different perspectives, different ways of potentially considering how we might accomplish this task. All right. Third stage is, this is where we're kind of getting our groove. We've got a really good understanding of who's bringing what to the table. This is when we are really starting to like each other. We're really starting to get some good processes in place. We're really looking at, this is going to happen. We've normalized everything. So our goals have been set, and now we're ready to move forward. This is the fun part, because this allows us at this point to really see the talents and abilities and skills that everybody brings to the table. So good ideas are common. What's uncommon are people who will work hard enough to bring them about. So what you'll find is that you've got people that have some of the same talents, and we build upon that and say, I'll start it off, and then you can take it from there, because that's a strength that you bring to the table. So we're beginning to normalize this. And in the workplace, this is when you begin to look at, I call it building your bench strength. So I don't have to be the resident expert on everything. Somebody else can also begin to add value to it, because they bring that strength to the table. Okay? So we start trusting each other. We begin to be in agreement that let's do it this way. And if that doesn't work, then we can come back and maybe modify it and look at what you've recommended. So nobody has to be the smartest person in the room. We can all build upon each other's strengths at that point. Okay? We respect the rules and values. We set the norms. We've already done that. And so based on that, this is what we're going to follow. And if it doesn't work, then we can always come back and make some modifications. Fair? All right, now the last one. This is when everything is happening. We are communicating. We are listening to people and not talking at them, but with them. Okay? We are sharing our knowledge, and we are working well together. What's nice about this is there's independence, there's competence, and that trust piece. I trust you to do your very best because you want the outcome just as much as I want the outcome. You want us to succeed just as much as I want us to succeed. So we collaborate. And that's why I loved when I saw you guys working on the puzzle, is that one table, everybody was hovering over that table because that was the last table to get their puzzle to some form of not having a piece here missing or a piece there missing. And everybody just like woofed to that table. I love that because a lot of times when we are silo focused or when it's all just about us, we forget the fact that, you know what? Other people have some contributions they can make. Other people have some ideas. Other people have some suggestions that might be valuable to the overall outcome we're trying to achieve. So can anybody tell me a high-performing team that they've observed? Anybody? A high-performing team.
Like a sport?
Could be, yeah.
The U.S., the soccer team. USA, the national soccer team.
So tell me why you consider them a high-performing team.
They made it to the semifinals in the FIFA last year.
Okay?
Which was pretty hard.
All right. So they had to do a lot of work.
Team working together, communicating.
Okay. All right. So we got the U.S. soccer team. Made it to pretty top level competition. Okay.
When our son broke his leg, his medical team worked well together. There were so many people, like x-rays and charts and doctors and calls and scheduling and insurance and all the things. And
Yeah. Could you imagine if they didn't?
I've seen that too.
Exactly. Exactly. And you're like, I don't think I want you operating on me. I just saw what you did. I don't want you. Yes. The who? The Nuggets. Yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah. And they've been like the worst team ever. Yeah. But they stepped up and really made things happen. Yes.
EOD, the EOD squad.
Say that again. To who?
EOD, explosive ordnance disposal. They work as a team where they fail.
Oh, see, I don't know about them. I learned something new today. Very good. Okay. So what's required to be a high-performing team?
The armed forces, if we did not have the armed forces the way they work together, Navy, Army, Marines, and Air Force.
Yeah.
That is the most powerful that I know about that works together to save us here in the United States of America.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They're really powerful.
And especially the elite groups,
Yes,
the Rangers and the,
out there. Right.
yeah. I wouldn't want to do what they do. So I thank them for that. But the idea is that to be a high-performing team, you've got to make sure that everybody on the team knows the mission. What is it that we're trying to accomplish? What's the goal? What's the end result? And in order for that to happen, what does that look like? So I'm going to show you a high-performing team that I just love to see what they do. And this video is only like 11 seconds, so you got to watch it because then it'll be gone. Make sure my sound is on. Huh. What just happened? What'd you say? I don't know. That's why I told you you had to watch it. What just happened? Switch tires in how long? It was 10 seconds. Now they had 20 people doing it. But just think about, what's the goal? What was their goal? To get them in and out as fast as you can, safe, so that they can continue competing. And the longer they stay in there, the further behind they get. If you've never watched them do this and how they prepare for this, this is huge. I mean, it's phenomenal just watching the preparation that they go through, the being on your knees and holding the tire correctly, and yeah, it's a whole, you would think that, okay, all you're doing is changing the tire. Are you kidding me? But they go through massive training to know how to do this in that short period of time. Now I want to show you another video of kind of the same thing, but a little different. This one won't be as fast. Oh, this is the same one, sorry. I'll show you again. Pretty incredible. Okay, let me go to the next one. Now, what just happened here? Oops. So in this situation, you got somebody who is trying to do it all by themselves compared to a team. And that's what we've got to look at sometimes. Yes, there are things that we can do individually, all by ourselves. But then there are other things that we need to look at. How do we work with others to get it done better, faster, and still be able to achieve the results that we're trying to achieve? So this is what happens when things don't work well. Is that I'm not taking any blame. It was his fault. I wasn't supposed to carry the laundry downstairs. I wasn't supposed to do this. I wasn't supposed to clean the plates off the table. Whatever the case is. So it's somebody else's fault. And what we've got to look at is, how do we begin to take ownership of what has to happen? And how do we work together to make sure that it happens well? So tonight you're going to have an opportunity to build a bridge. And we're going to have 4 bridges that will be built. So I just need, let's see. Can you two come to this table? And can you two, these 2 tables, come together? I'm trying to make sure we've got the same maybe number of people. 1, 2, 3, 3. Oh, you guys just come to this table here. So I just need, what's your name, sir?
Christian.
Mr. Christian, can you go to that table and get a box over there and those 2 cups? In fact, can you go to get the 2 cups for your table? Yeah, why don't you guys come here? And at this table, what's your name, sir? Maddox. Hi, Maddox. How are you? Good. So can you go to that table and get a box and get the 2 cups? Can you get the box and 2 cups for your table. And for this table, what's your name? Nora. Okay. Nora, can you go? I know she got something in her mouth, I think. So can you go and get the box? And can you, what's your name?
Elsie.
Elsie, thank you. Can you go get the 2 cups? Okay. Oh, can you take the puzzle and just put it back in the Ziploc bag? You can put all the pieces in there. You don't have to take any of the pieces out. Yeah, I'll take them. Can you collect them for me? All the bags? Awesome, thank you. You want to collect some bags for me? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a bridge. And let me give you the instructions first before you start. No trick instructions at all. You have all the pieces and parts. I'll tell you that now. So your objective is to use all the team skills we've talked about. Setting rules. You're going to be brainstorming. You're going to make sure everybody is part of the conversation. And the goal is that points will be assigned based on the number and the type of blocks that you use. So the first thing that you're going to do, the first 25 minutes, you're going to design your bridge as close to the set specifications as possible, but you cannot touch any of the pieces. So you can open the box and put all the pieces out on the table, but you cannot touch them in terms of building your bridge. You've got to use the sheets, the sizes, and so forth on your instruction sheet. The goal of this bridge is to use as less pieces as you can, but the end result is your bridge will be able to hold the 2 coffee cups. So you can take the coffee cups out of the newspaper, yes. So you can put all the pieces out, but as you're building your bridge, you cannot touch the pieces. But you can read all the instructions. You'll see all the sizes of the pieces and everything else. And your goal is to work at what is this bridge going to look like. And then once you do your planning, and I say time is up, then you'll have actually 10 minutes to build the bridge. Okay? All right, so any questions before we get started? Yes?
Sorry, so we can't touch the pieces during the building?
You cannot touch the pieces in the planning stage.
Not during the building phase.
But when the planning stage is done, then you can touch the pieces and build the bridge that you've decided how it's going to look. Oh, you can take them out of the box. Yeah, you can take them out of the box. But you cannot use them and say, oh, yeah, we're going to put this one here, this one here. You can on paper, but you can't do it with the pieces themselves. Any questions before we get started, before I start the timer?
I just want to make sure on this, it says your goal is to accumulate as few points as possible.
Yes. So here is the point sheet. Here's the point sheet. So the goal is to accumulate as few points as possible. Yes.
Can we trade pieces?
No. No. Everybody has the same pieces in their boxes. Yeah. So like I said, you can take all the pieces out of your box so you know what you have. You just can't use it in the planning phase. Okay, is everybody ready? I want this team first to get their pieces out. Yes.
Question. So, does it need to be at least this long
Yes.
and at least this high?
Yes.
Okay. But it can't be longer or higher.
It can be, but you'll lose points. So look at the first part. It has to be at least 12 inches long, 4 inches high, and it has to hold 2 coffee cups that we're going to fill with water. Okay. Any questions? All right, your time begins now to plan. Remember the roles. All right, I think we are closing in on our time. We got 3 to 1 second. Time. All right, this is going to be Team A, Team B, Team C, and Team D. So Team A, how many points? Oh, all right, Team B. We're going to come back to A. You got to be ready. Team B. 50? All right, Team C. Team D. 10. All right, Team A. How many got it? 71. Team C.
Okay, we don't want to play anymore. 66.
You don't want to play anymore. $81. All right, listen up. Team A says 71 points. Team B, 50 points. Team C, 81 points. And Team D, 10 points. Okay? Everybody's got their 2 cups of water? All right, I'm going to set the clock. And you're going to have 10 minutes to create your bridge, set your cups on the bridge. Yes. Yes. Well, you can certainly, at this point, this is what we have unless you're changing it right now. So if you come in less than that, then that's great. The goal is to have less points, use less points. Okay? The coffee cups have to sit on the bridge, and then the coordinators will come by and make sure that the count is correct before we finalize. You're only going to have 10 minutes. Any other questions before we start? All right, build your bridge. All right. If I can get everybody's attention. Yes, keep your cups on. All right, the goal was what? What was the goal we were going towards? To build a bridge and with the least number of points. Okay? That was the overall goal. Okay, but collectively our goal was to make sure what? We worked together as a team. We took everybody's ideas into consideration. I saw lots of iterations and conversations and moving this and moving that. and eliminating. And that's what teamwork is all about, is making sure that everybody's voice is heard. Okay? So we've got changes that took place, which I love, is that teams, as they visualized it on paper, but then when they began to put the pieces together, they notice, oh, that's not working, or that's going to work better, or we need to make that change or that adjustment. And that's what happens sometimes, is getting to the end result. So we'll start with Team A. Tell us a little bit about your strategy. Okay. All right. And I know you guys went through several iterations of moving things around. And again, took everybody's ideas into consideration. Team.
For our strategy too, is we didn't know you would be putting the books on. We thought it had to be structurally, like, had integrity across for you to put them.
Oh.
So if we would have known we could put them on, I think we would have built it to be load heavy on one side and not on the other side.
And that would have decreased your points. Okay. All right. Team C, you were the second group. What was your strategy?
Our strategy really was to make sure that we had a bridge that fit within the parameters of what was given. That it was 12 by 4, because if the city is telling you to build a bridge, it needs to get over the freeway. It can't be short. So we decided that we wanted to stay within the parameters given, 12 by 4, and to make sure that it was load bearing, that it could support what was needed at the I can't say structural part of it.
Okay.
Maybe on a ramp, it's not going to support too much.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Team B.
Well, we started off really going after the dimensions and then realized that the points were fewer if we used less blocks and didn't worry about the dimensions so much. So with the goal being 8 points as possible, we were able to almost 30 points.
Okay. All right. So all three of these teams made adjustments along the way. Team D, out of the chute, said, we're going to change the dynamics a little bit. So tell us about your strategy.
Collectively as a group, we went through the structure of it at first with the sizes of it, but then we realized it's better if we sacrifice on the dimensions because the goal was to be the least amount of points. It didn't say it had to be a certain size. It also didn't say your bridge did not have to, we decided we use the cup as the top of the bridge to eliminate another piece. So we only had to use 2 blocks, one 0 points, the other was 3. We sacrificed our points. The lowest points you can get is 10. And then we stacked them because we didn't need we didn't need anything higher than the 2 cups, and that's how we came up with 10 points.
Now, those of you who didn't go that route, if you were analyzing it, what would you say? Not a, wait. Okay.
Define a bridge.
Oh, they even went online and found a bridge to match their structure.
Something that joins or connects different people or things.
So we joined those 2 blocks on each side were joined together by the coffee cup, the mugs, and if we run water underneath that, it will act as a bridge.
Okay.
Or in this case, a ruler. It acts as a bridge.
All right. So, well, congratulations to team. I don't think I've had anybody to do it with 10 points. So, congratulations to team D. They pushed the boundaries a little bit, but only thing we said is what? You had to build a bridge, hold the coffee cups, and less points, with as less points as possible.
So we only used 3 points and the rest were deductions.
Deductions.
We took the highest penalty and used the least amount of pieces of it.
Okay, very good. So hopefully just from this exercise was to just talk about the fact that the planning part of it is sometimes crucial to get to an end result. because at least you've looked at all the possibilities. And even with that, you could make adjustments along the way. And that's what teamwork or team building is all about, is no one plan is correct. All ideas are important to take into consideration. And if you can get then everybody involved, then people don't feel as though you've limited their ability to be part of the solution. And that's ultimately what it is. Anytime you're working on a project, I always say this, is read between the lines. That's how entrepreneurs become entrepreneurs. They read between the lines and they look for other ways to minimize their costs, their production, so that they can be first on the market to put something out there that potentially people will purchase or utilize that service. So hopefully you had some fun tonight. And any questions? All right, I'm done.